Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Monday, the 6th of February 2023. I'm Sean Aylmer. Now, every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 closed down 0.25% today to 7,539 points. Cautious is probably the best way to describe today. While there wasn't a lot of action, many of the very large caps were sold off. In fact, 14 of the largest 20 companies on the ASX ended in the red. All the major banks were lower and Macquarie Group fell more than 1%. The retailers fell, Telstra was off, and both Goodman Group and Transurban both dropped sharply. The big miners were the outperformers. Among the worst performers were Sayona Mining, Core Lithium and Lake Resources. All of those ones are lithium companies. The best performer was Newcrest Mining. I'll tell you about it in a moment. Next best was Beach Energy after it announced it's reached an agreement for Webuild to complete delivery of its West Australian gas project, subject to finalisation of the Clough administration. That helped its share price jump nearly 4%. Story number 2, plenty of corporate news around today and nothing bigger than the fact that Australia's largest gold company, Newcrest, has received a $24 billion bid from Canadian-based Newmont. That would create the world's largest gold group. We're waiting for a response from Newcrest's board on that one. Aurizon has received approval from the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission for the sale of its East Coast rail business to Magnetic Rail. Downer EDI has been selected as the preferred applicant to deliver the Queensland Train Manufacturing Program. And Nick Scali reported a big jump in revenue and profit for the half year to the end of December, but couldn't prevent a 13% drop in its share price. Story number 3, the politicians are back in Canberra. Treasurer Jim Chalmers said Australians need to be realistic about prospects for 2023. His comments came ahead of tomorrow's meeting of the Reserve Bank Board, where interest rates are set to rise by another 25 basis points. Also, Defence Minister Richard Marles said an announcement about the details of Australia's acquisition of nuclear-propelled submarines is imminent. Trade Minister Don Farrell this afternoon spoke to his Chinese counterpart, and while there's no breakthrough in the lifting of sanctions on $20 billion worth of Australian exports, both sides have agreed to continue the dialogue. Also, the Northern Territory government confirmed alcohol bans will be reinstated in Central Australia in a move to restrict sales across the top end. It follows a week of alcohol-fuelled violence in Alice Springs. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese noted today that the solution wasn't just about alcohol, and the federal and territory governments will spend $250 million on a safer future plan for the territory. And finally, Victorian Greens Senator Lydia Thorpe has quit the Greens and moved to the crossbenchers over a split on the Indigenous Voice to Parliament referendum. Story number 4, lithium explorer AVZ Minerals today said the Democratic Republic of Congo's mining minister has ordered the revocation of a decree that granted AVZ's operating partner a mining license for the joint venture's lithium project. It's very bad news for AVZ, which has been in its trading suspension since May last year. Now, AVZ had boasted about its ownership of the world's richest lithium deposit, but the statement from the Congolese government identifies persistent conflicts between the joint venture shareholders, which it says are likely to paralyse the lithium operations at a time of urgency. And finally, story number 5, a powerful earthquake struck southern Turkey before dawn today, killing at least 100 people and trapping an unknown number of others in pancaked apartment buildings. Rescue workers are racing to save survivors, the government said. The quake, with a preliminary magnitude of 7.4, struck at a depth of 5 kilometres with an epicentre near the south of the country, not far from the Syrian border. The quake caused damage and left casualties in at least 10 provinces in Turkey. So far, that country has reported 38 deaths, and Syrian state media said 62 people have died. And Syrian state media said 62 of its residents have died. That's it for the afternoon report for Monday, the 6th of February, 2023. Michael Thompson and I will be back tomorrow morning with the Tuesday edition of Fear and Greed. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.